Why did the Strokes blow up in the UK? What if I told you that one of the biggest bands of the 2000s used to rehearse right down the hall from me? Before the fame, before Is This It, they were just another New York City band in a rundown music building. I saw it all before it happened. Stay tuned, it's coming up. It was the late 90s heading into the 2000s. Britpop had just faded, Oasis and Blur had done their thing. Suddenly, all eyes turned towards New York City. There was a pulse, dirty, raw, stylish, and right in the middle of it was the Strokes. They didn't just play rock and roll, they looked it. 5 guys who made it seem effortless. Vintage amps, tangled cables, and cigarette smoke curling under a red light. That was New York's heartbeat at the time. And I remember seeing them at a club called Light Lounge on the Lower East Side. It was packed and sweaty and really friggin' loud. The kind of night where everyone knew something was happening, but no one could explain what it was just yet. They weren't famous. They were just another New York band that we would see hanging out in the bars, but the energy in that room was different. They had this sound that made you forget where you were or what year it was. It was reckless, cool, tight. They captured lightning and bottled it into 2 minutes and 59 seconds. I remember it vividly. We're at the music building, on the elevator, going down to play a show at Don Hills with my band, Light Motorcade. And we're getting on the elevator and my guitar player, Derek, says to me, "Hey, have you seen these guys, the Strokes? I saw their flyers around and I see them walking around and they look insanely cool." And I said, "No." And as I'm saying this, Julian and the band get on the elevator. And we're like, Derek's like, "I was just telling Harley that I saw you guys and you guys sound great. I heard you rehearsing." And they said, "Yeah, aren't you guys playing at Don Hills?" And we said, "Yeah." And they said, "We're on our way to come see you. We're gonna go grab some beers and come down and watch you guys." So we played a gig. After the gig, Julian says, "Dude, that was awesome," because it was packed. We had a buzz going on and they were just starting. So I don't even know where they came from. I never saw them. All of a sudden they were on the scene. They were out and about every night. They were very serious about what they were doing and creating a buzz. So he asked me to grab a beer at the bar. We grab a beer at the bar. He says we should do a gig together because our audiences could blend well and we can gain new fans. I said, "Definitely." He said, "Man, I want to play Mercury Lounge. How do I get a gig there?" Imagine this like 200-seater. And I said, "You got to call Brian Gentles he's the booker, but he's kind of difficult to get in touch with because everybody wants to play there. It's a great place in New York City." So I said, "Call Ryan at Mercury Lounge." Next thing I know, Ryan calls me. He's like, "Oh man, that band, The Strokes, I'm managing them. They're amazing." I was like, "What?" But anyway, he says, "Julian says you guys want to do a gig together." I said, "Hell yeah, when?" He tells me the date. I call my guitar player. He's like, "I have already booked tickets to go see my parents." So, dude, this could be a good thing. But at the time, remember, they were just a local band. So I was like, "I think we should make this happen." There's people are talking about them, you know? And he's like, "Dude, there'll be other gigs. Just get another date." Never happened. And that was that. It was one of those moments that you think about what could have been. I saw them later at a bar and they were kind of upset with me. And I asked them why. And they said, "Well, we kind of reached out to you guys for a hand in the beginning and you blew us off." And I was like, "No, I didn't. I would have loved to do that gig." So Julian and you guys, if you ever see this video, I didn't blow you off. I would have loved to play with you, but as fate would have it, it didn't work out. Long story short, we end up going to play a gig on the West Coast and my friend Tommy comes walking in with Fader magazine. The Strokes are on the cover. And I'm just like, next thing you know, they're playing Reading and Leeds. Next thing you know, they're number 2 on the UK charts. Next thing you know, they're on the cover of Enemy, Q, Mojo. And the rest, as they say, is history. The UK was hungry for something new, something with grit and style. The Strokes looked like they just walked out of a Velvet Underground video, and they sounded like every British kid's idea of New York cool. Sleazy, fast, effortlessly melodic, and the British music press, they live for a story like that. They made the Strokes the face of the new revolution, calling them the band that would save guitar music. Suddenly, they were headlining Reading and Leeds, and every British band that followed, the Libertines, Arctic Monkeys, Franz Ferdinand, owed a piece of their spark to the Strokes. Meanwhile, in America, it was a different world. The radio was full of nu metal, pop punk, and polished pop. What the Strokes were doing, that raw garage band minimalism, didn't fit the mainstream narrative yet. But the UK, they got it. They've always got it. They love attitude, swagger, and story, and the Strokes gave them all 3. They weren't just a band, they were a movement waiting for a home, and Britain gave them one. And it started right there in those downtown dirty rehearsal rooms in New York City. I think that the UK likes to think about their music more than Americans do. And that's why I love Oasis and the Stone Roses and Pulp and The Verve, one of my favorite bands. I just think that it's a little bit, their indie rock can be chart topping. Here, indie rock's more underground. That's why like England saw the Strokes and adopted them, because they were like, this is cool and stylish and badass, and the songs are infectious as hell. I mean, when I saw them at Luna Lounge one time, they were still unsigned, and I remember Julian was walking through the crowd with a clipboard to get email addresses, if you could imagine. And he walks up to me, and we recognize each other from the gig at Don Hills, and he's like, he mumbled something like, what do we all want from this? Just to be able to like make a living and play music. Well, he's done more than that. I remember after that gig, he was walking around with the clipboard. My band played in like upstate in Rochester, New York or something, and we went to an after party and we all jumped in this girl's car and she puts on the Strokes. That's when I knew it was all happening for them. And they left everybody in the dust. Obviously, Interpol and Yeah Yeah Yeahs came from that same scene. And there's a movie about it, Meet Me in the Bathroom. Kind of bummed because they never interviewed us, but I want to do a review on that movie because I haven't seen it yet. But anyway, I'm so happy for those guys, and they changed music. They reminded me of like what the Ramones did at CBGB's in '77. And they look like they were from a time capsule of that era. Television, Velvet Underground, and England has ate it up. And I was so enamored that they did so well. And of course I was a little jealous. But I mean, I still love watching them. If they're the kind of band that if they're at a festival, like it could be half full when the Strokes come on, the whole field packs up because they're that good. But I wish them all the best in the future. Tell me your theory in the comments of why the Strokes blew up in the UK, and give me your thoughts on anything about them, or if you met them or saw them. Please don't forget to subscribe, because I talk about this kind of stuff with like-minded people, and I love to create this community. Ring the bell so that you're notified when I release a new video, and I'll talk to you soon.